Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
All right, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast, episode number 43.
He had to look.
Oh, I had to ask. There's a long intro to this one that you may see on a blooper reel at some point.
Probably.
But anyway, we got a lot of things going on tonight. But before we get into everything, we got any news or anything
we
going
have
on?
like one thing going on tonight. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crap.
And you're running all the. I mean, I'm trying to make it. I'm pumping it up. You know.
How's that working out for you, Dennis?
You guys suck. But anyway, we do have a guest on tonight. But before we get to that, what you guys got for this week? Anything good and exciting? Any new stuff? Any old stuff?
A friend of mine went to Louisville to see a guy called Amos Lee.
Hey,
Yeah, and it was
that
this
would've
really
been
cool
me.
place called Iroquois Park.
No, it was my
South side of
my
Louisville?
friend Tony.
Oh, Tony went too. What
Okay.
did Tony? What have you talked to Tony since he went?
No, I have not talked to Tony yet.
Well, anyway, I took my wife, Kelly.
Dennis was
She
there too.
loves. Yeah, we were. Kelly loves Amos Lee. This is actually our third. We're getting to be like almost Foo Fighter type totals on this, but we've 3 times in the last once a year now for the last 3 years.
I got a quick question for you, Dennis.
Sure.
Can you find Amos Lee on Spotify?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Matter of fact, we
Downtown?
upped our.
Do
we actually
downtown did stuff.
yeah. We actually, you know what? And I tried to Shazam a song
Oh, damn.
Live.
I forgot it was Shazam.
live because there
I'm the one
was a
that
guy.
uses SoundHound.
There was a guy who opened up for Amos Lee that he just started playing, and we're like, we don't know who this guy is. So anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to Shazam and see how close he is to his recording, or if this will work live. I know it's not supposed to work live, and it didn't. But then he finally come on, and his name was Drew. Shit.
That's an interesting name.
Well, I wrote it down, and I can't read my own
I bet
writing.
he doesn't get. Wonder where he's in the bin. Like,
Drew
is it under
something
in
the neighbors. Drew something in the neighbors. It's Drew Holland. Hold on a second. I tell you. Here, talk amongst yourselves for a second, because I want
to. Anytime you're
10 minutes on that. Anyway, they had an opening act, and they were really good, but they only played 30 minutes, and I thought that was really bizarre. 30 minutes, but it was just a 3-piece guy out of Nashville. I'm getting ready to pull it up here real quick. Hold on a second. Here's Drew H. Here we go. Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. Okay.
Oh.
And Kelly is like going, well, I know this. She knew the song because she listens to this coffee house station all the time, and it came on. But they come out and played, and he was pretty good. It wasn't nothing spectacular, just 3-piece, and but it was a decent show. And then Amos Lee came out. He played. Oh, the hell, it was almost 2 hours. Like I said, it was at Iroquois Amphitheater, which is in Iroquois Park, south of Louisville, off the Loop. If you go on Taylorsville Road, about 6 miles down. It's a beautiful park. And actually they got a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern trail thing that we're actually going to go back up for here in about 3 weeks, and take that deal. But anyway, the funny thing is we bought those tickets off. Remember, that's when I went through Ticketfly instead of Ticketmaster.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
I was like, is this a legit thing to do it? Well, my ticket said 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, man, that's awful early for a concert. But hey, it's Ticketfly. So we went to Louisville that day. I had to drop our band actually had a gig that day, but I couldn't play with them. So I dropped the trailer off so they could have the equipment. They went without me that time. Sorry about that, guys. And so anyway, we went to Louisville, and we drove over to find the place. We found the place, and we're like, well, let's go. We get some dinner real quick. So we drove up to. We ended up eating at a place up there. Anyway, up the road. Come back. to the place, and we're like going at 5. It was about 5:30, and we're like, this is weird. There's no cars in the parking lot. The thing starts at 6:30 Eastern, and I'm like, Eastern Standard Time. Looked at my phone again. So we parked the car, and I was like, well, let's just walk up here to the ticket booth. And we walked up toward there, and the gate was shut, and we're like, but we see tour buses out back, so we're like, it's got to be going on. So I go up to the ticket window, and I'm like going, Amos Lee tonight? He goes, yeah, doors open at 7. It shows at 8. And I go, my ticket says 6:30. Oh, I'm sorry. So they ended up changing the time at some point since I bought the tickets. And of course, Ticketfly does not let me know that the time had been changed. And so anyway, we got
Ticketfly.
So we were there a little bit early. We could have went to Cheesecake Factory and went to the mall like we were supposed to do. But we
IKEA there anywhere you could have went to?
No, we didn't go to IKEA. But so anyway, I told Kelly, I was like, let's just stay here. And so anyway, we walked back. And we knew that where that pumpkin trail was. So we started walking around back, and then we seen the tour buses. So we kind of walked in between the amphitheater, and our tour buses were across the street. Well, as we start walking up through there, he actually starts doing a sound check and plays a little bit. So we actually could sit back there and kind of listen to him playing and doing a sound check. He'd start a song and he'd say, hey, stop, I need some more monitor. And I took a little video of it and posted it. I think I sent it. I posted on my Facebook page. But it was kind of interesting. So by the time we got back, we walked around, and we thought, well, maybe he'll go back to his tour bus. So we're like going to try to stalk him for a little bit and see if we can catch him going back like we did the Foo Fighters. And but anyway, he never did come back out. We figured they probably had a facility in there, and I told her, I said, he's probably eating dinner or something. But anyway, went to the show. It was a really good show. Like I said, the first act played 30 minutes. They had probably a 20-minute changeover real quick. And but then he came out and played, and like I said, he did a cover of Sarah Smiles, which was really good. And I sent a copy to you guys, and I'll post it on the page also. But no, it was a good show, except for these 3 women sitting about 5 rows behind us that wanted to yell louder than anybody, even him, the whole band. They were louder than anybody. Every like 4.5 minutes, she'd go, and Kelly was about ready to throat punch her at some point. It was like, really, you got to keep doing this.
You were in Iroquois Park.
That was true. But I don't know. Nothing against my Indian friends, but
nothing at all. I'm just making a comment. You were in Iroquois Park. What did you?
Right. So anyway, that was my.
You were in Cheetah Park.
That was my concert experience, and so anyway, that's what happened Saturday night. You guys got anything going on? Anything fun, exciting?
I did a sound event for a comedian.
Oh yeah, how'd that turn out?
That was really good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really neat gig.
A sound event for a comedian. That's pretty cool. Did he need more things in the monitor? What did he need to hear?
Oh,
he was a she. He still is a she.
Yeah.
But no, actually, she.
Wait.
What was great about this was she went on stage at like 8 o'clock. We wanted to do a sound check at 4. So literally, sound check was she talked in the microphone and said, "Ooh, this sounds really good," and then she had an audio clip because she did a song at the very end of the night. Right. So I played the audio clip off of my laptop into my sound system, and she asked somebody in the audience, how she sounded over top of her music, and we hit the volume. Sound check for that took all of 45 seconds at the most.
She's just like, tell one dirty joke, and then it's like on, okay, let me text this.
Was she funny?
She was very funny, and she incorporated me into her show. So that
what did she do? It was a hillbilly joke?
No, it was a
bald-headed joke?
A bald-headed middle-aged overweight man. So I was like, that's me.
There's a guy back there that looks like a penis, and he's running the soundboard.
So was she a little blue, or was it fairly?
Was she a little blue?
As far as her comedy, was it blue comedy, or was it more?
No, it was.
I know it was a
nice, clean humor.
Oh,
she didn't even. I don't even think she said "damn."
Because we were talking about this just real quick, and not to change your show.
Well,
but
my
talking
show,
about,
I'm done.
Okay.
So.
But talking about women, Ron and I were talking about this the other night. You remember Sherry Crawford she's passed away many years ago, but she was a very heavy set lady who sang here in Evansville with a bunch of different bands. Uh,
I wouldn't remember that.
she had a hell of a voice. I mean, but she was just wasn't very pretty. But she had a hell of a voice. But
She had a face for radio.
she told jokes. She was actually her and Cheryl Ladd actually were roommates and best friends.
Body doubles.
No, they weren't body. But
No, literally.
you would
doubles.
go to you. I went to a couple of her. I went to a couple of her performances, and it got to the point where it embarrassed me. Her jokes were just, I mean, so dirty. I mean, they were just bad dirty.
You ever seen Lisa Lampanelli?
Well, no, she is probably she was a '80s version of Lisa Lampanelli. If I told you that.
Holy mackerel!
And then I tell you what, too, and we were started talking about that thing. You remember Goldie that used to do the Goldie? She had the little old opera house in Owensboro.
Yeah, she does.
And she does those commercials.
She does commercials for a station out of Owensboro.
They're the one that G-E-E-E or whatever it was. They're used to do these commercials.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I was in 4-H, she came to our 4-H fair and played this one night. Same thing. I mean, there was these families and people and farmers and everybody's there, and she comes in and they start doing this country show. And in between songs, she told some of the dirtiest jokes I've ever heard in my life. And I'm a 16-year-old kid going, "Holy crap!" I mean, it was freaking me out. So anyway, it's funny when ladies turn blue like that. That's what I meant by blue. Was her comedy blue? Like
I thought maybe you was wondering if she turned into
no,
somebody on Willy Wonka.
No.
Anyway,
all right.
You got anything, Bill?
Okay.
No.
All right. I think we're getting ready to start this interview here. We're going to have tonight on the Ages of Rock podcast. We're going to have a band on here.
Finally, Dennis is getting to the point.
There you go. Called Reed 4. They are actually a local band. She's
local to Evansville.
Local to Evansville. She's actually a friend of mine. I've known her for a few years, and she's actually family. After the summer, she married my wife's cousin, so we are family now. But anyway, they just had an album that's going to actually come out this Saturday. I believe they're having I think at the Deerhead in Evansville, they're having a record party, and they're actually going to play it live, the whole album in its entirety. So, but anyway,
that is REEDFOUR.
You got it.
There you go.
No L.
And without further ado, our interview with Reed 4. All righty, now we're back again with our guest. We have two of the Reed 4. Like I said, they are a band from Evansville that is local. They're having a new album that's coming out this weekend. Isn't that right? The 24th?
Yes.
And Andria, I've known you for how many years now? It's been what? About
Probably 7 years.
7 years. And she's become family just this year. She married my wife's cousin, so we are actually family now.
Yeah.
And real nice wedding. It was very hot and humid that day.
Hottest thing ever. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. I had about, 20 pounds of undergarment on that just made me feel like sausage in the hottest day I've ever experienced.
It was super hot, and the Carson's beer was flowing good that day. It was a nice wedding.
Yeah, we had Carson's Brewery. We had their beer, and we put a little sign up that said, this isn't Bud Light.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't read that sign because I got pretty messed up that day, actually. So,
Thanks
anyway.
No, really?
But anyway, getting back to this, I'm really proud of Andrea. And like I said, this is what the main reason I wanted you guys on is the fact that we've talked about this on this podcast many, many times, is the fact of how the business has changed. The music business itself isn't like it was 2 decades ago where they coddled a band goes in, here they sign you up. I've got these songs, and then they do all the work for you, and you do this. I mean, you've done this all on your own. I mean, this has come from you thinking about these songs into now you've got something coming out.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted you to talk through the process. I mean, we'll talk about the album, we'll talk about the song stuff. I'm interested, and I know interested in the process. How does a band go about in this time, in this day? How do you go about doing that? I mean, it seems like a large undertaking,
For me, I started playing around Evansville whenever I was about 18, just doing solo things and kind of just getting myself together, I guess, honing my craft. And
Right.
then all of the songs that I put together and started writing, I knew my end goal was to form a band, but I kind of had to get myself collected and write the whole album, so I had quite a few songs and had this idea of a concept album. Then I was working at Boston's Pizza in Newburgh, and Joe Valls, I worked with him, and we would sit, on our slow times and just talk music. And he is just an unbelievable guitar player. And, I started playing with him a little bit. I was running an open mic night at Bullocks, and Josh Case, he came in, and we just started jamming together, and he played lead guitar during that time. And so I kind of just had my eyes open to possible people who I would want to play with. And for me, it was more about making a relationship with people and playing in a band with people that I really care about, not, I feel like if it's going to last, I need to be playing with people that I enjoy playing, they're my friends. Did I lose you?
Your video dropped out, but your
Videos,
audio
but
is
your audio's
still
still
going,
there. Just
so.
keep going. And
All right.
we're all right.
So I started playing with some musicians that I was just really blown away with. Dave Matthews, I heard him say one time, I want to play with musicians who are better than me, so I kind of tried to put myself around musicians who were better than me, and I've learned quite a bit. So I started playing with those guys. And Matt, I'm friends with his wife, and we used to carpool to USI together. And Matt and Lene, they would come to some of my solo shows. And Matt, he was like, if you ever need a drummer, it would, your stuff would sound really cool with some beat behind it, Right. And so I just always kind of kept these people who really were into what I was doing in the back, in my back pocket, and then approached them whenever it was time for me to, whenever I finally had myself together. And then we just started playing, and then it kind of just happened, so that's kind of our background story. We played a full year. This record that I had, we played it for a full year, and then we recorded it at Joe's house. And I had heard some of Joe's recordings, and they were great. And he has his own style of the way he likes it to sound. And we just did it ourselves. We don't have any money. So we're just doing something that we really enjoy. And if people want to listen, that's awesome. That's a huge plus, So for, us playing this record, we tried to get it as solid as possible. Then we just did one song a week, and we would be recording for 5 hours, once a week until we had it finished. How long do you think it took us to finish the record?
About 9 months, I think.
And so we finished that on our own, and then we just kind of tapped into our resources, people who were interested in our project. They showed interest, we just kind of tapped into our resources. So Mike Boren, he is Joe's cousin's husband, and he was like, yeah, I'll master your record, and that's no problem. And so
Mike's a good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome, and so he did a lot for us, and he did it in his spare time, and that took about a year, and we were very patient, and we were just grateful for him putting so much work into it and allowing us to come in and come back and keep coming back and making some adjustments.
How many edits did Joe say?
I don't know. He said he made like 500 little adjustments,
Could you tweak that just a little bit?
Yeah, so then after that, then we just went the next step, and we didn't want to oversaturate ourselves. We haven't been playing very many shows in town. We're more interested in creating art, and putting this thing together and letting it come about naturally. That's our biggest push. It's just everything has come into place in its own time and naturally, and I get really anxious a lot of times. I'm always never satisfied. And the guys, because we've set it up, because they are my friends. They're so good. They keep me centered and they keep me.
There's been a lot of talking her off of the ledge.
Yeah, I'm like I'm so eager. I'm so eager. I'm just
She knows what she wants sometimes.
yeah. And so being patient and allowing and appreciating the process has been something that I'm learning. And so then I guess it goes down to once we recorded, Matt here has been the guy who's done lots of research, and he is like on forums all the time, just researching how to put something like this out. And we have kind of taken on the business side of the
So that's
band.
that was one of my questions. Since you don't really, you're not through a management agency and all this,
Yeah.
and through all that. As far as copyrights and stuff like that, I mean, how do you go about that? I mean, I guess you just do your research and.
Yeah, you want to talk about this, Matt?
There's a lot of research trying to figure that stuff out for sure. And
There's lots of ways to do it.
really what it came down to was word on the street. I was just talking to lots of other musicians, like she was saying, in forums. And the big thing now is like digital distribution. There are companies like CD Baby's been around forever. You can get pretty moderately priced packages, and they will upload your stuff to all of the major streaming sites, iTunes, Amazon, etc., just for one lump sum. And all of
I
your
used CD Baby to release a single.
Yeah.
we didn't really figure that one out, but they just did the whole album for us.
Yeah. Are you talking about how we released our single recently?
The video, perhaps.
No, I was just saying that he released
No,
a
I was
signal.
just making a
I
comment.
didn't hear that part. Okay.
I was saying that I used CD Baby myself to release a single
Okay.
a few years ago.
Okay. Now I'm hearing it.
So you're familiar with the process.
Yeah, I am.
As far as they have pro distribution, so then as part of that, we just went through that for YouTube monetization and copyrights through ASCAP through CD Baby's pro service.
It's about the bare bones minimum as you could go.
We could have we talked about just going through ASCAP separately. We ended up saving about $75 through going through.
That's huge for us.
Yeah.
As with any new band, right? As
Yeah,
any
exactly. I mean-
fledgling band, $75 is like a week's worth of work.
That's food,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were like, this seems really like a one-stop shop, and it really is. And we went through disc makers, and we got our CDs probably a month and a half ago. The packaging looks amazing. We paired up with Aaron Tanner to do the artwork, and he is just a phenomenal artist. And he's got a really clear vision for simple, clean logos, and we feel like we did a really good job on our Read 4 logo, especially because it seems like all the icons now are circular, so he just put that circular Read 4, and so it works across all social media.
He nailed it.
Yeah, he did. He really nailed it. He's done work for, Tin Man Brewery, Ween.
Pixies.
Yeah.
There's a little derpy cat on the internet that has Down syndrome called Little Bub. I think he's done some work for him too. Or
Yeah.
Is it a her? I'm not sure.
I think it is a her.
Little.
I know my little bub.
Now, you said something earlier in your discussion there that caught my attention, and I wanted to applaud you. You said that you haven't played a lot around this area because you don't want to oversaturate oversaturate yourself, I guess, into the local scene.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a lesson that a lot of the local original bands could take, because I have several friends in the local music scene, and their band plays every weekend or every other weekend, and it doesn't take long at all before people quit coming to their shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get mad at everybody for not coming, but how many times I don't. Kiss is my favorite band, and I wouldn't want to see them every weekend.
That's exactly
I
what
wouldn't have even wanted to see them every weekend.
And the problem is,
when they sounded good.
The problem is, if you're an up and coming band, your repertoire is going to be very small. So if you're out there playing, the same 10 songs, they're great the first 8, 10 times you see them.
Right.
Versus like going.
I really wish that Joe Valls was here because he tells us this all the time. He uses what does he use for this? He's like Pink Floyd could go to Deerhead and play it once a week, and they couldn't pack the place. It's just you can't play in one place. Make
absolutely
expect people to show up.
Especially in a town like Evansville,
Evansville is. You've got to have the worst town to try to break out and do something in anyway. Because
I'm glad you said that.
and I can. No, I can because I've lived here since 1983. I played in many, many cover bands here in town. I've never tried to make it on with a original band, but I've played cover bands in this town since 1983. It's a horrible town for music. And the support here is zero. It's just not a. I don't know. It's just you go to like places like Nashville and things like that. They've actually got a scene. Evansville had a scene back in the 80s, between probably 80 to 86 probably. But after that, it fell apart.
I think there are people in this town who are really trying to change that, though.
And Andrea, it may have changed. I honestly, the band that I play in right now, we couldn't get a gig in Evansville if we tried. We just can't get into Evansville.
There's like the click here.
We play, I play more weekends than I want to play, to be honest. But we play mostly DuBois County, Spencer County, Perry County. We go to Odin. We play out in the country type bars, but we play rock and roll, and actually harder rock and roll. But we just don't. Evansville is a finicky bunch. It's a clique, and you got to get in there, and we just can't get in. We've never been able to.
And the truth is, it's okay. If you're
and I'm fine with that.
Looking at it like if we're making a little bit of progress, we are getting our art out there. We just released a music video. I really enjoy songwriting and music, but I do other things besides read for.
Well, the whole point, you're a school teacher.
With Read 4, I'm really into creating film, so I shot a music video in Evansville, and I really wanted to shoot it in Evansville on no budget, and I wanted to make it seem like it wasn't in Evansville, and it came across like that. There are people who commented who were like, wow, I can't believe this was in Evansville. It doesn't look like Evansville. Evansville has a lot to offer. It's just kind of how you
look at it. You got to go to the right places. Don't go to the 4 monuments, and don't go to this, and don't go to you got to go to the different places. And
don't go to the train bridge over by Ohio Street.
Yeah. You gotta get on a bicycle and learn it from that point of view.
But no, what I was saying earlier, though,
poor Bill is just kind of left out in the dirt here.
No, I was just going to say it was interesting because when I watched the video, I looked, because I'm from Evansville, so I looked for places that I thought would be familiar and didn't really see any. They look like, so that's, for me, it didn't really look like Evansville.
Right.
Nailed it.
So.
Perfect. That's what I was hoping.
What I was trying to say.
I thought because when I saw that it was filmed in Evansville, so I was like, oh, cool. When I saw that on the website, so I watched it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to find some cool stuff that I haven't seen for a while. I've never seen that.
I thought that
it's not Roseanne. It's not the beginning of Roseanne, okay?
Yeah, it's not like, which, by the way, is a block from my in-laws.
I lived so the guy in that music video is my cousin,
right?
And he actually part of where he's running, a good majority of it he's running, and he's running by this. He starts and stops in front of this church on First Street, It's cat a corner from the Wrights home.
You revealed the location we're doing.
There you go.
But I lived on the corner of First and Cherry. I moved to Nashville whenever I was 20 years old, and I moved back whenever I was 22, and I moved to that location on the corner of First and Cherry. So I'd always looked at that street, and that's where I lived for a year. And so I always kept that in mind for later, it's a beautiful street, and I think there's lots of places in Evansville that do not, there's so much beautiful architecture in Evansville, and I kind of wanted to capture those elements in the video.
So are the songs you've written then, because I've only actually heard the one song, so are they, where do you get your inspiration for the music that you wrote? So the songs that my understanding then from what we've discussed then is that the music is actually a couple of years old, right?
Quite a few.
Yeah, it's quite a few years old. So what this is, so whenever I'm 30 right now. Whenever I was 22, I moved back from Nashville. And, so whenever I was 16, my mom passed away. She died of breast cancer. And so I used music as a way to escape and to deal with my issues. So I've been songwriting since, I was pretty young. And then I took the songwriting to Nashville, and I went to college. You're supposed to go to college right out of high school. I spent 2 years at USI just basically, wasting money. And I said, you know what, forget this. I need to go in the workforce. I need to get my hands dirty. So I moved to Nashville and I waited tables for 2 years. And I played shows there and just kind of learned a little bit about the business. And I was waiting tables with people who went to Belmont University that were in music business. And I just really paid attention to what they were talking about. And then I moved back, which was the best thing I could have done. I went to work for my uncle at his business, and then he ended up passing away a year later after I moved back. And so if I wouldn't have moved back, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to have been, gotten closer to my uncle. And so I kind of taken tragedy and just thrown myself into songwriting and as a way to deal with loss. So the record is called Bedford to Belmead, and it's basically the music that I wrote from living on Bedford Avenue in Nashville and moving back and living on Belmead Avenue in Evansville.
That's cool.
And so I just held on to those songs, and I have quite a few more songs than that I wrote during that time period, but I just kind of took the best of the ones that I thought would be most appropriate and did this concept record over, kind of also that mirrors falling for someone that you can't really have, or, you're always kind of falling in love with the wrong person, or you're looking in the wrong direction. But it also is dealing with acceptance, self-acceptance, and kind of just picking yourself up by your own bootstraps and moving on and accepting and loving who you really are. I tried to kind of drown my sorrows in other ways besides music. And I realized all those things only made me more unhappy. So that's kind of what the record is about. It goes, it's kind of cyclical in a way where it just kind of starts back at the beginning with, I've done this before, I've gotten myself into like kind of longing for falling in love with a person that's not right for me, and then getting crushed and then being like, why is this happening to me? And then
My pride.
And then I'm so prideful that I'm not realizing it, and then at the end it's just kind of dealing with self-acceptance. So it kind of mirrors that same grief process with the loss of people I've loved in my life too. It's kind of the same thing, and I've just being self-aware, being aware of that.
Love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself. It's a thing that I had to learn how to do so I could actually love someone else.
Nobody teaches you these things. You have to figure this stuff out yourself, and I think she's wrote a beautiful story. It's very poetic. The lyrics speak for themselves.
So Andrea, being that you had so many songs, you didn't want to do like an Axl Rose. You didn't want to put like a Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. You could have did You
No,
got
who
a
knows?
double album,
There
actually.
could be a Bedford to Belmead again.
There you go.
There and back. What was the Tolkien? I forget the Hobbit story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, like I said, all this stuff is coming out where you'll be able to get it on, like I said,
I-
on
iTunes,
iTunes and
Spotify, Amazon.
Bandcamp.
Yeah.
so Amazon. Can you get the hard copy too off Amazon or just
No, but you
digital?
can get it from CD Baby.
We'd
the
rather.
hard copy?
We'd
Okay.
much prefer if you just come to our show Saturday and buy it from us.
We
Right.
we printed 100 CDs, and when they're gone, they're gone.
That's
and
it.
You can get it digitally, but we're just releasing 100.
Now, I'm gonna get one of those, don't you? You got
Oh.
one set for me, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, definitely. Because Kelly, actually, I've got to play that night, but we're gonna make it back there. How late are you guys gonna be at the Airhead that night?
They said midnight.
Till midnight.
Yeah.
So 9 to midnight. We're having David Davis is going to open, and Steve Tyner. And
And for people that don't know, this is the Deerhead in Evansville, Indiana. It's down on what street is that? It's on
Columbia.
Columbia Street, and they're going to be having a CD. And you're playing what? You're playing this in entirety
Yes.
live, right? Okay.
Yes.
Steve
You'll
Tyner's
have-
another good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And you'll be having your CDs and all any other merch and all
We have
kinds
some
of stuff.
T-shirts. We don't. We're keeping it pretty simple. We've partnered with a T-shirt business in town that is going to also allow us to special order. So it's like you can go up and we'll have some on display, and you'll be able to go up and order it off of an iPad, and it'll be shipped right to your door.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
So because we're really trying to figure out how do I don't want to. That's why we only got 100 CDs. It's talking about the business aspect. We don't want to go in debt for this thing. We don't want to have any kind of financial struggles or issues, and so we're being very conservative on how much we buy and what
when
we
you buy T-shirts, don't buy anything super duper duper small.
Yeah,
I've got some fifth degree burn T-shirts.
I don't
Everybody
wanna-
wants an extra large or a double X. Those are the ones that you get big money in. Don't go into smalls.
I don't want to buy a bunch of T-shirts that are sitting in my guest
Exactly.
bedroom for 20 years.
They kind of already are, though.
Yeah,
We've already been through this.
We did make a bunch of T-shirts, and I screen printed them myself with the bearded lady face on them. And, they're sitting in my guest room, but I'm also we haven't played out a bunch either, so we're going to sell those older shirts for cheaper at our show, sell the newer shirts. So we'll kind of hit a range of people. If they want to get a really nice high quality $22 T-shirt, you have that choice. But if you want to buy this $7 hand screen printed shirt, you can buy that.
So Andrew, once you get since this party goes on this Saturday, now will you start playing out more to promote the album? I mean, is this going to be something that you're going to be going out? So where in Evans or where can you go? Where can people go see you at?
October 22nd, we're going to be playing at a veterans benefit at the Coliseum.
Ow.
What?
Sorry. I just had to flip out.
Oh.
He's laughing at me for some reason.
No, he's just got anxiety. He thinks I'm laughing at him.
Are we on video or just audio right now?
Your audio.
You're just
Okay.
audio, unfortunately. So you can do whatever you
can
want.
flip off
your
too,
nose,
and we won't even
pick
know
your
it.
nose, flip off. Whatever you want to do.
Then we are going to be at Unplugged Ale House November 12th in Evansville, and then we're going to be we've started reaching out. We're going to be playing in Bloomington at the Players Pub. Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be November 17th, but we are waiting to hear back confirmation on that date. They sent us 3 dates, and so we were kind of waiting on confirmation for that. So we're really planning on just not hitting Evansville. We want to take it out, 200-mile radius and start traveling with it and just kind of seeing what else is out there and making connections.
Do you still have connections in Nashville?
Not really. I mean, I have some.
I know it's been a while since you've been there, but I know.
Yeah.
The scene changes really.
Yeah, the scene changes really fast. I left Evansville even. I was playing, not all the time, but I was playing often in town. And then I stepped away from the scene to go back to college and to focus on my career. And coming back in, to get booking in Evansville for Read 4 has been a struggle. You know,
Trust me, I know the struggle.
we're slowly breaking into different places, you know, and having the video and, you know, creating a buzz. But I get their point of view. You know, we have to bring in a crowd, and so right now we are mainly focusing on building a fan base and making connections with people.
The ball has really been rolling here recently.
Yeah.
Ever since the video, things have been kind of just falling into place.
It's
pretty crazy.
We reached out to that's another thing that Matt did that is just friggin' genius, and I would not have done this, and it makes me so grateful for Matt every single day because he does things, he takes things a step further than I would have, and he makes it, he really does a lot for a Read 4, and he's been contacting blogs, you know, so I made a spreadsheet this summer whenever I was off.
And radio stations. And we've been submitting to radio stations. There are quite a few radio stations in town that have our stuff. And
I see you're going to be on Friday, isn't it? Friday, is it?
Yeah, we're going to be on USI's radio station from 3 to 5 on the 23rd.
Right.
So, yeah, this Friday.
So that'll air right before the show for all you older gens that still use the radio.
I think actually,
what the hell are you talking about, radio?
I think that you guys said this is going to air on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So then
it's just going to be like a nonstop weekend of Read 4 promotions.
And then we're also going into Channel 44. They're doing a local band spotlight, so we're gonna,
which is pretty freaking cool.
Mason is another cool dude.
Play there, and so that should be fun. So there's just a few things that we're dipping our toe into a whole new.
We're changing the format of Read 4 too.
Yeah.
Like we're doing this acoustic stuff now because
we
were scared off a couple of venues because we were quote unquote too loud because I guess rock bands are not allowed.
You know what they say about if you're too loud, you're what?
Too old.
I'm not saying it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so
the music scene in Evansville. So let me ask a question about the music scene in Evansville. So, you know, you mentioned USI a couple of times. So is there, you know, is USI being, you know, as far out of town as it is, which isn't that far, but is it far out enough, and there's not enough bars and stuff around it to really not get an indie music scene going? I mean, is that because there doesn't seem to be like a bar area in town? You have to like, it's a destination. You have to go to the bar. You have to want to go to the bar versus being in a strip. Like here in Columbus, we have an area called 4th Street, and there are like 4 bars within a block, and you can go, or 3 bars, and you can go at 4, and you can go any Friday or Saturday night, and there's it
depends on how many red balls.
I was trying to how many fireballs you've had.
Icy.
You know, and you can see you could see 4 or 5 different bands within a block.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, sometimes I've walked into places before and I'm kind of like, yeah, this is not the one I'm on. Yeah. But you get that exposure. So it's kind of funny because, you know, I'm not being from Evansville, and even when I go back and I just drive around town or something, I get it. It doesn't seem like there's a place to really have.
Well, you grew up near U of E. Tell me where there's a bar near U of E. There's not. Yeah. There's nothing there.
And they've tried to turn right there at the corner of Lincoln and Weinbach. They've tried to turn that area into a bar a couple of times, and it just doesn't work.
I don't want to be. I mean, I get it. I will play in bars.
Yeah, and that's. I'm just talking about getting broke and stuff like that. I'm trying to.
Yeah, and I think what we're trying to do is have more of a YouTube presence and and focus a little bit more on music video, getting some more live performance, and maybe focusing more on putting out more of a theatrical style of a performance.
There you go.
That makes sense. I'm getting to an age where I have a family, you know, I don't want to be out in the bars, and I'm obviously going to have to, you know, and we play shows, and, you know, honestly, I'm turning into a person that I'm like, oh my God, our record release starts at 9:00. Ugh.
Welcome to my hell. Welcome to my hell.
But that's what it is.
We play at 10:00, and I don't start till 2, and I get home at 4:30 in the morning. I'm 51 years old. This sucks. You know?
Dennis, I saw your meal that you posted on Facebook.
That was funny.
That was real.
Oh, it is
dinner
corn dogs, coffee, and egg rolls, man. That's breakfast of champions right there.
But those are kind of the things that we're working toward. Is having a more. Hopefully, down the road, we can be.
Choose your destiny. That's the whole point. You got the. You're starting out to where you can do this your way.
Yeah.
Why not? You've done it your way this far. Why not
Exactly.
do it the rest
Set
of the way?
rules, and that's the beauty of it. We work for us, and so if we make connections in talking to people who are, I'm not so focused on hopping into a scene. I'm more focused on just putting my music out. If people want to listen to it, that's the goal. If people would like to take a look at the art we've created, that is very cool. If and making connections with people as far as working with really good artists, like collaboration and learning. Like I teach 7th grade, and I'm learning all the time from my students. They teach me a ton, and I just want to be in a learning mindset and understand that we are being, we're as successful as we want to be. And I think that I don't want to pigeonhole us. I want to make our shows in Evansville an event. We want to play in Evansville like 4 times a year, and make it an event, and then also be playing 4 times a year in Louisville, playing 4 times a year in Bloomington, the same place, and making kind of a circuit for us that's more regional and hopefully national.
People will like it, hopefully.
Yeah,
and people will wait for it. The people will want to see it. It's like going, oh man, we haven't seen them for 3 months.
Right.
Hey, they're coming around again. If Reed Force shows up every other week at this bar,
yeah.
oh, who's that? Oh, it's
I'm a
Reed
cover
Force.
band.
Blah.
We've tried to play covers, and it just always. We have 4 musicians who have completely different taste in music, and that was the complete idea when we set it up. I try to. I mean, Metal Matt over here is like metalhead, like you wouldn't believe. Josh is, and then Joe, he's hip hop all the way, and so for us, I'm a folk singer, and I feel like that was intentional in the people that I've surrounded myself with, and I wanted to play with people who have such a different sound than what I have, because it will make us sound. It'll create its own sound, and that's what's exciting for me.
That's cool.
Right.
That's cool.
So where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
There we go.
Read4.com.
Good answer.
There we go.
You have links to your Facebook and your YouTube channels and all of that good stuff there?
All there, baby.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we're currently working on building our YouTube. We're gonna do a music video trilogy. We started with the first one. We have 2 singles still to release with music videos. So we want to focus on doing those types of things.
We'll also link you on to our page and everything. Also, too, I seen there was a picture on that the radio station. It was like a promotional picture you guys took.
Yeah,
it's actually older.
Yeah, that's older. My friend Sarah.
Whatever you've got, send it to me, Andrea, and like I said, then we'll put it on our page too. As far as
my friend Sarah Gilley, she took a bunch of pictures for us, and we thought she did a fabulous job.
I figured
you're very kind, and that was another resource that we were able to tap into, and
we're just frugal all the way.
Frugal Fanny over here.
That's how you got to do it. I mean, this for us is really. You made a comment earlier that was very true to, how this is operating for us. This is really, for us, it's therapeutic, and we enjoy doing it, and we have a great time. And if people like it, that's awesome. And we want people to listen. We really do. And if you don't like it and you don't get the humor part, and it doesn't move you,
then go find something else.
Okay,
go watch CNN.
That's okay.
The truth is, we do this for ourselves, and we have to recheck. Sure. We have to keep ourselves in check. I'll get frustrated, and things are moving a little slower than I'd like, and we sit down and we're like, the bottom line is we're doing this for us, not for anybody else. And we'll be as successful as we want.
Yeah.
We already are successful because we're doing it. We're just putting it out there slowly, but it's happening.
Yeah, you're on here. I mean, really, what more?
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm already very, very happy, about what's happening. We've
Cool.
made a record, and we did it for not a ton of money, and we did. It's.
That's awesome.
I'm proud of it.
Those online royalties will come through eventually.
There you go. You get that.
Yep.
You get that check for 13 cents. You'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Split 4 ways.
Split read 4 ways.
You know what? And take that check and just mount it on the wall and say, look, the first 13 cents we split.
We friggin' did it.
We're gonna blow it.
That's right.
We're gonna blow
Well,
it.
Andrea and Matt, and like I said, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And like I said,
Thanks
good
for having
luck.
us.
Good luck for everything for you guys. Hopefully I'll get to show up. I'll be there Saturday night late. Like I said, I got to play.
Awesome.
And that's why I've never got to see you guys. Well, you don't ever play out hardly, but I never get to see you anyway because I'm always playing or something. Seems
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we'll hook up Saturday night late. But
Cool.
thanks for coming on the show. We sure appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks a lot for being on.
It's really
No problem.
fun talking to you guys. You're awesome.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Peace out,
All right.
folks. We'll see
Peace
you
out.
next week.
See
See
you
ya.
next week.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.